This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Richard. I'm one of the fourth year PM&R residents. I'm joined with Dr. Brandon Savage and Dr. Hannah Haddad. Dr. Brandon Savage, he's one of the other chiefs in addition to myself. And then Hannah Haddad is one of the second year residents. He'll talk a little bit about the intern year in a second. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead and get started. So welcome to LSU PM&R. We are based out of New Orleans. Our program's been around for a while, since 1973, and we have a really good reputation in the New Orleans community. In all the hospitals we rotate, we're really known as just a really happy, friendly, easygoing bunch that works really hard, but also is just nice to be around. You know, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're just easy to get along with. We take 6 residents per year, and we're a categorical program, so you don't have to do you don't have to move. You're all just going to be at New Orleans. Benefits, obviously, we have free gated parking, which is really important for me. Free meals. I think we get like $125 at like Children's, UMC, and Toro, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We have online access to just about every textbook and journal article you could ever want. Health and dental insurance, retirement options, health savings account. We get to wear scrubs, so you don't have to wear business casual stuff or even a white coat at most rotations, which is a huge plus for me. Sick leave, obviously, vacation, education leave. And then we also have a faculty mentor program. So everyone's assigned a faculty mentor starting at intern year. And then you can obviously, you meet with them about every 6 months and just check in, see how everything's going, how life's going, how residency's going. And then, you know, if your clinical interests change, you can always get a new mentor and, you know, that fit your clinical interests and can help you either, you know, find fellowship positions, research, things of that nature. So just kind of overlooking kind of what to expect for year to year. So our intern year, it is categorical. It's kind of more similar to a transitional year. So you do a few months of pediatric PM&R, kind of a mix of inpatient, outpatient consults at Children's. You do some sports medicine with Dr. Carlin, who's a pediatric sports medicine trained physiatrist on the North Shore, where you'll see baclofen pumps, phenol blocks, Botox injections, which you get to do hands-on stuff, which is a pretty big theme in our entire program. A couple months of interventional pain, just right off the block, starting to do injections, hands-on. You might just watch one or two, but we usually like to get you guys hands-on exposure pretty early on. Some rheumatology months. You do 1 month of inpatient IPR, 2 months of general medicine, and then this kind of hodgepodge internal medicine outpatient rotation. And I'll let Hannah talk about that later on, kind of her experience with it. Kind of looking through the rest of the years though, so 2nd through 4th year kind of share the same kind of theme. You have to meet all your inpatient rehab requirements, so you'll do a couple months of adult inpatient IPR your 2nd and 3rd year, and then you do 1 month of that your 4th year. But you do some consult months, which tend to be a little bit more laid back, and you just do some coverage here and there if people are on vacations. We do a month of inpatient Children's inpatient rehab, now that we have an inpatient or pediatric PM&R fellowship starting up next year. So that's a big plus for us, and that's something we're all very excited about. And then you just kind of get thrown into interventional pain, we have our UMC rotation, which is where we do the bulk of our EMGs and nerve conduction studies, but it's kind of similar to like a sport and spine rotation. So you mainly do EMGs, but you end up doing Wednesday general clinic. So we had that today, where you see anything from back pain to knee pain, shoulder pain. You do ultrasound guided injections, and then there's also the option of doing injections under fluoro Friday mornings. But that's kind of an optional thing if you're interested in interventional pain. It's an option for you. Sports medicine, so we get to rotate 2 days a week with the Oshner Sports Medicine Department. So we rotate with Dr. Dave Leslie and Dr. Lauren Leslie. Dr. Dave Leslie, he's one of the team docs for the Saints, and so you'll see some Saints players and their kids rolling in there occasionally, which is pretty cool. I think some people, if you're lucky enough, you actually get to go to the Saints training facility and kind of do some workout there, which is really cool. It's not an every time thing though. That's a great rotation. And then we're at the VA as well, where you do a lot of multidisciplinary clinics, amputees, spinal cord, traumatic brain injury, ALS clinics as well. It's kind of just a general overview from second through fourth year. And then procedures, like I mentioned before, this is definitely a big shining point for us. Our residents are very, very skilled by the time they're done with residency. There's a lot of us that end up doing pain. It's definitely a strong point for us. Most people, if you want to do pain, you'll get anywhere from like 6 to 10 or 11 months of pain by the time you're done with your residency. So that's almost like a full pain fellowship there. And each year you get to do more and more. So intern year, you're probably just messing around in the low back, not too much stuff you can really mess up there. But then as you progress and show your capability with the needle and your needle driving technique, you can progress to do more advanced procedures. So last Friday, I was able to do a bunch of cervical injections on my own with my attending watching me, just giving me feedback whenever he felt like he needed to. But you really get a lot of exposure to a lot of different things, including ultrasound, Botox injections, and we're just blowing out the minimum requirements. Not even, I think I met all these by the end of second year, to be honest. In regards to our conferences and learning, so we do them every Friday, 12 to 4. You can go to the pain conferences if you want. My roommate's interested in pain, and he's going to one of the pain journal clubs right now with Oshner Baptist. We try to do it by subject when we're able to. It's kind of like my big job right now. Sometimes scheduling doesn't allow it, but we try to when we can. We do have a dedicated ultrasound curriculum. We also have a EMG lecture series that the third years do to prepare them for the EMG SAE self-assessment exam at the end of the year of their third year. We also have a MSK lecture series that we're starting up this year and a cadaver lab that the interns do. So the goal between intern year and second year is to really kind of get your MSK skills good, try to teach you the ropes, kind of give you a good foundation of knowledge to build upon. So cadaver lab, you're not dissecting it, but you're just going into the cadaver lab, talking to the residency about the different insertions, activation, things of that nature. And then the second years, we'll talk a little bit about like the pathophysiology with the certain joints and muscles. We have a yearly sim lab, which you can see at that top where we do simulated cases, which is a lot of fun. Intern and EMG boot camps. So that picture at the very bottom here, that's our interns with some medical students and our PGY3s at the end of their intern boot camp. We also have some industry sponsored training that we get to do as well. So these pictures in the middle here from the MERS Xeomin group. So they came in, taught us how to use ultrasound and do Botox. And they actually brought cadavers as well. So we got to inject dye into the cadavers via landmark approach, and then get to see how much we missed or got it using ultrasound. And ultrasound's obviously a lot better, just a spoiler there. Our ultrasound curriculum is great. We do it about twice a semester. I think we're moving on to shoulder next, but we kind of do it every 2 years. We cover just about every major joint of the body. And by the end of it is to try to make sure you feel comfortable by the end of your training. You can do any sort of ultrasound guided injection. You can do diagnostic scans. It's really great. And we also see just some of our pictures. We're scanning the brachial plexus down here. These are one of our old PGY4 from last year, Dr. Wolf and Dr. Anders here getting scanned. So that's really great. And that's something that our program director, Dr. Owens, he saw that there was a lot of interest in ultrasound, and so he made all this, which has been fantastic. Our program's really listens to the resident feedback. We make changes based off what we want to learn. Our workload is great. It's excellent. Probably some of the best in the country, to be honest. Averaging about 40 hours a week, even at Toro, which is our inpatient rehab, maybe 50 hours. The Toro call, you are on call for a team about probably at max 14, Monday to Friday. You work 1 weekend a month at Toro. So we do, probably about 10 months at Toro, just actually doing team coverage. And then you do some months of consult coverage where you might have to cover a week or two. And if you're lucky, you only have to work 10 weekends all at residency, which is really great. Also have a ton of volunteer opportunities as well. A lot of us end up volunteering at the Special Olympics with Dr. David Leslie, because he covers that. And then there's also something called the Wheelchair Games that's going on in New Orleans right now that some of the residents are rotating at. The Wheelchair Games is stuff for disabled veterans. It's really cool. You should look into it if you guys are interested. Rotation sites. So this is the city of New Orleans. This is home. So this is the French Quarter right here. This little cluster is where the VA and UMC are located. This is where Toro is located right here. This is Oshner Baptist. This is Children's. So really the drives, no matter where you're at, you're looking maybe at like a 20-minute drive, 30 minutes with traffic. We do go across the causeway north, so kind of north. This is like Pontchartrain here. About an hour north, we do that pediatric PM&R rotation your intern year and second year. It's about an hour drive. That's the most you have to drive, and it's just for 2 months. And you're going against traffic, so it's really not too terrible at all. These are just some pictures of kind of our main rotation sites that you're going to spend most of your time at. So this is Toro, main inpatient rehab. We have some of our patients here that made it on the news, just incredible success stories. And they just happen to be my patients that month too. So I like to think I did something special then. And then this is our staff, our wonderful staff that we love. That's probably one of the best parts of Toro for me, is just working with the staff. They're all really great. This is the front of Toro. It's been around in uptown New Orleans for quite a bit. And then this is a view from our resident workroom. It's really nice, especially if you get there in the mornings. You can see the sunrise. It's great. This is UMC, so it's a brand new, I guess it's been open for a while, but it's beautiful. There's a Chihuly statue in the middle of the courtyard there. It's really nice. It's really great to work at. And that's where we do those some of those inpatient consults, and a bulk of their EMGs. This is the VA, also relatively brand new as well. Very nice. This is Dr. Lou Hernandez and I. We just both happened to aspirate a knee and got a ton of fluid out that day. And this is Children's. They just finished a multi-year huge renovation. So as you can see, all the hospitals that we rotate at are pretty much brand new and really nice, really up to date. Just really nice to be in, because you end up spending, decent amount of time, 40 hours a week in some of these places. And where do residents live? So the bulk of us kind of live scattered throughout the city. There are a few people that live on the North Shore. That's this little star here. They don't live on a boat. This is uptown New Orleans. So I live here and I love it. Some people live in Mid-City. Dr. Savage kind of lives at the end of the Garden District. This is the West Bank over here. Even though it's south of the river, it's based off of kind of how the Mississippi curves up the nation. So technically, that's on the west part of the Mississippi. It's a little New Orleans fun. And that's Lakeview here, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of green space at the city park here, and this is Audubon Park there as well. And New Orleans is just great, as I'm sure most of you guys know. Amazing food. You have Galatoire's, Commander's Palace, Cafe Du Monde, where you can get some beignets. There's also some newer restaurants too, like Pamelo's, a Thai place that's really good. You just can't run out of good food in this city. And another thing I love about New Orleans is just the people and our residency too. We hang out a lot. I mean, Dr. Savage and I played tennis for like an hour and a half, 2 hours today, and a lot over the past few weeks, but we do volleyball. We're a really close-knit group. We like to have fun. We work hard. And we're just a really just fun group to be around. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the residency. Um, Here's us, our program coordinator here is Maggie. She's a ghost tour guide of the French Quarter. So we did that with her one day. We did a tubing trip that I had to miss out on a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately. And of course, Mardi Gras in the top right. You can't beat Mardi Gras. That's all I have. You guys can feel free to follow us at LSU PM&R, but Hannah, I'll let you go ahead and just talk a little bit about intern year.
Yeah. So hey guys, like Zach said, I'm Hannah. I'm a PGY too. So I just finished up my intern year at LSU, and so I have nothing but great things to say about it. I do think that it's one of the most unique intern years in PM&R in the country for multiple reasons. One of those reasons being you're really integrated into the program very early on. I know a lot of programs when you're looking at them, either they're advanced, so you have to go do a prelim year, someone totally different, or you're a part of that program's just internal medicine department, or they're categorical and you're still just a part of that program's internal medicine department and you don't get a lot of interaction with your fellow co-residents. But with the LSU program, we start going to didactics right in the beginning. We hang out a lot, and so you get to be invited to all those things, and just being a part of like the PM&R department right away whenever you're doing all the PM&R rotations that first year and your IPR rotations, you're with your co-residents. So you feel like a part of the team very early on. And that was huge for me. I mean, it just feels very supportive, especially I remember on my IPR rotation that first day, you're terrified, you're in charge of this team, you're an intern. And I woke up to 6 or 7 texts from residents that I wasn't even on a rotation with, just like checking in, being like, call me at any time if you need anything. And I think that's really attributed to us just being integrated to the program early on. I think also one of the unique things about our program is that we don't just spend 12 months doing internal medicine wards. I know that wards are important and we do get those couple of months in there, but a lot of our months are spent doing really PM&R pertinent things. Our rheumatology rotation, you get to see an aspect like, no, we're not rheumatologists, but we see a lot of those patients. We see a lot of rheumatoid arthritis patients, a lot of fibromyalgia patients. So seeing that aspect of their care is really important. And also working with radiology and learning how to read MRIs and read pertinent x-rays. We do really, really cool rotations that kind of set you up for success in the PM&R field. And I think that that's really unique because I know when I was looking at programs, you only get maybe 1 month of a PM&R relevant thing in your transitional year or your IM year, and you're just kind of stuck doing a lot of medicine. And I think it's really cool that we kind of incorporate things that you would need later on. And then also, like Zach said, our work-life balance, I almost felt bad talking to my other intern year friends because you hear that they're, spending 80 hours a week at the hospital, and that was not my experience at all. I only worked a handful of weekends. I put in my hours, but I got a lot of time at home to spend with my family and with my friends, with my dog. And you also leave a lot of time for studying and independent training. So just more time to focus on what you want to learn with your time. So I think that was really cool too, and really important to me. And then also, I know we kind of touched on that procedural number that we get, but we start intern year. I just checked because I was curious how many procedures I logged last year. I logged 88 procedures in my intern year. And that's kind of a compilation of spinal procedures, Botox injections, trigger point injections, joint injections, some ultrasound guided stuff. But I don't think that's anywhere that you're going to find, you're not going to find that anywhere else. We just really hit the ground running with getting hands-on needle time and not just observing, like you are actually driving that needle and really getting that experience. So I think that's really cool, especially if you're into wanting to be a proceduralist in the future. And then let's see what else I got. I know we talked about New Orleans as well. I know Mardi Gras and all those things. It kind of goes again with like you just feel part of the program right away. And I got to spend Mardi Gras with some of my co-residents, and I just think it's a very unique opportunity here in your intern year. And I just don't think you're going to find something this awesome anywhere else.
Great. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, I guess I know Dr. Savage has been answering questions, but y'all just feel free to have at it. And we also have our contact info up here if you guys I don't know, have any lingering questions or just want to, say hi. If you're ever in NOLA, just shoot us a message or something, come hang out.
We have about 2 minutes left.
Awesome. I think I forgot to mention that you're also allowed to moonlight as well. So I've been moonlighting since my second year. Haven't had any issues, obviously. That's just another plus. Helps have. It's not like where you don't get paid enough, but as you know, I'm getting married this year, so I need the money, man. Weddings are expensive. Hannah knows too. Hannah's getting married soon too.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeffrey.